Hi, this is Cindy, your hair wife, and welcome to What She Said podcast.
Single women
yes, single women
are buying more homes than single men.
Why would you tell a woman, like, this is the steps you need, or like what exactly to help someone who's listening?
I'm seeing a lot of women investors.
I specifically said I need a condo because I am not going to be cutting no grass or shoveling any snow.
Most people think they can't afford as much as they can.
This is so true.
Crazy world out there. There's so many people that you just can't trust.
On today's episode, we are going to have Matt. Matt is a real estate agent in Chicago. We met through social media, and he really caught my attention when he mentioned the fact that women own more homes than men today. I thought this was a very interesting subject to bring on this podcast. My female listeners can listen to it, and I really want to hear just what he has to say about it. We're going to start with an icebreaker just to kind of break things up. Biggie or Tupac?
Oh. I'm going to say Biggie.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, is there... Why?
No, I just like it better. I like his music better.
Okay, I go with Tupac because of the lyrics.
Okay.
But that's fine. But okay.
And I'm a bigger guy, so...
What do you mean?
I mean, not as much anymore. I recently lost a bunch of weight, but I was always a bigger guy, so it's just feel for a little bit bigger of a guy.
Okay, that's cool. That's respected. You're a real estate agent.
Sure.
And you've been noticing that women are buying more homes than men. Is that just like
single women?
Single women.
Single women
yes, single women
are buying more homes than single men.
Well, I hope it's not married women, because then where's the men? But okay, like how long has that been happening?
From 2020 to 2023, it's actually gone up. Wow. I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but it was reported by USA Today. It's kind of interesting, especially being that 60 years ago, a woman couldn't even get a mortgage without having a cosigner of a male.
And now they took over the real estate.
Correct.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, I was kind of like talking about this like my friends all week, right? And my clients. And my opinion, I could be wrong, and I can only speak from a woman's perspective. From my perspective, I feel like we want to own because we like feeling secure. You know, like when I was renting my apartment, I didn't really want to like paint, or I was like, this isn't mine. I don't want to invest into it. Now that I bought my condo, I redid the kitchen. I'm like, I want a different color paint job, whatever. And why do you think, from a man's perspective, they would rather rent than own? Do they like the flexibility of like picking up and leaving when the lease is up?
Well, I think that, first of all, the numbers are a little skewed because women do live longer than men. So those numbers of single women, they're more likely to report themselves as widowed as opposed to, their spouse passed away and they don't say anything.
Gotcha.
So those numbers do affect it a little bit. But going back on what you say, I do think that more women want something to call their own. Right. And now with the wage gap is closing in for younger millennials, where women are making as much as men now in some aspects, in some even more. So they're going out there and they're saying, I want to do something with my money. Mm-hmm. I want to have something to own. And I'm seeing a lot of women investors. So women are coming out there and they're buying multi-units, living in one, renting out the other one so that they can move on to their next house and have something of their own. It's the smart thing to do.
It is. And I feel like men used to always do that. Mm-hmm. It's mind-blowing to me. Like, I'm happy for women. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm a girl's girl. So it's like, if you are single, for example, like I'm divorced. So yes, I'm single. Mm-hmm. It's like I should own, right? Mm-hmm. Rent. But I'm so traditional that I hate it. I do. Like, I have such mixed reviews about that only because I'm so traditional. Like, I feel like a man's the one that should be buying the property. But if they're single, what are they supposed to do?
But you shouldn't always have to rely on somebody else.
I agree.
That's the key.
I agree 100%.
And you know what? Some landlords, I know plenty of landlords that are women that are even running the projects for their husbands. I feel like there's a lot of women out there that have a lot of tenacity and are willing to push further than some of the men that just are like, oh, well, I got a tenant in there. Forget, let's not worry about it. Where these women are out there saying, no, let's keep it clean. Let's keep it nice. Let's take care of it and make more money.
Men like to just like whatever. There's somebody in there. Like
men
are so chill.
Yeah.
We're psycho. We want just like everything to be perfect, and we will make it happen. Like, we will update the kitchen if it has to. I think, like you said, like the apartment that I lived in for 10 years, they never updated that kitchen. It was hideous. And I didn't care because I'm like, the minute that gets updated, my rent's going up.
Right.
So I didn't care. But, you know, again, a man owned it. If a woman owned it, it probably would have been updated.
I look at it and think like, my wife designs everything. My wife's got a good foresight, good eye. And me, I'm a creature of habit. I'll stay there and it does its job. I don't need to do anything. It looks beautiful.
You're like, this is a great table. That's a great wall.
Exactly.
You guys are just easy though. That's amazing. So you were saying that these numbers went up in the past few years, right? Did COVID spike that?
I don't know if it was necessarily COVID, but I think it's more so the wage gap. Again, they're getting more money. They're making more money. And I don't think that it's there yet, right? I mean, there's still a wage gap, but I think that the millennial buyers are making more money now so that they're increasing that. And that's the largest group of like single women that are buying right now.
Okay.
But it goes back on what you were saying. They want to be independent. So they don't want to count on somebody else.
I don't want to be independent. I was forced to be independent. I don't want to
There's a lot of women out there that want to be.
Yeah. I have a lot of clients who are thinking of buying property, right? I don't know anything about this. Like, I don't even know how I did my process, to be honest with you. It was so much paperwork and too much emailing for my liking. But what advice would you give women, or what would you tell a woman? Like, this is the steps you need, or like what exactly to help someone who's listening?
First off, you want to position yourself with a good real estate agent, somebody that knows the market, obviously. You want to know somebody with the products. Then you want to get a pre-approval because you need to know what your budget is, right? It's just
$1 million.
Yeah, everybody thinks, but it's crazy. Most people think they can't afford as much as they can. They go out and try to figure out, I don't want to spend too much money, but the difference between $200,000 and $300,000 is only $600, $700 a month.
You're right.
You know, so in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much more.
Okay.
But you want to get pre-approved. You want to know what you can afford, and then narrow down on the locations that you want to be in, because then you can have your agent find what's out there. And in today's market, there's not much out there.
There isn't. And okay, for like Illinois, I feel like a lot of people left Illinois, right? Is that, but how's the market still like, who's buying these houses?
The market, it's very slim on inventory. And when you're looking at the market as a whole, the reason I think that it is slim is so many people refinanced during COVID and just after COVID when interest rates were at 2.5%. So nobody wants to leave the 2.5%.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, not to go and end up getting today's market's around 6.875.
Is that where we're at?
Yeah. So it's scary for that to move there. But now there's a lot of first-time home buyers and people that just want to get started, but they don't have as many opportunities as we did years ago because there's no inventory and it's pushing prices up and up.
It's crazy. I bought a condo in Florida 2 years ago in the Brickell area. And when I tell you that we were trying to find something, it was like, forget it. Yeah. Forget it. Like, it was impossible, especially like an area that's hot. Like, you know, like now I'm thinking of buying something like in downtown area and I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like on Zillow and I'm like, this is my budget, knowing that's not my budget. And I'm like, there's nothing. There's nothing.
And the other thing, when you're looking at condos, people don't take into consideration the cost of an HOA.
Yes.
You know, and some of them in the city can be $1,000 a month. It's insane. And it depends on...
$1,000?
Yeah. It depends on, does it have an elevator? Is there a pool in the building? Does it have 24-hour staff? The gym? And the gym doesn't add that much, but the 24-hour staff and the elevators, that really adds price.
Okay. So... first-time homeowners, is there any benefit to it? Like, do they get...
Currently, there is some programs out there that they can get up to $10,000 back. Just depends on which program that they go with. Some of it will be a grant that needs to be repaid over 30 years. It's a interest-free grant. There's other programs out there that they give just straight money to. If you do refinance, you will have to pay some of that back. Right. Most people in today's market are going to refinance because we do predict the rates to go down, which is why we say it's a good time to buy now. As the rates go down, prices are going to go back up and they're going to continue to go up higher than they are.
They're already so high.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're already so high. How much higher can we go?
So, and the nice thing with first-time home buyers, you can buy with very little money down, as low as 3%. A veteran can buy with zero money down. And rightfully so. I think that's a huge benefit to veterans. But most people are putting I'm seeing in today's market about 10% down. You have PMI, which is private mortgage insurance, and it's based on your credit score and how much money you're putting down.
Okay.
But, these are all things that you go over when you're with the right realtor and the right lender and figure out what your budget is.
It's a lot. The process was so stressful.
It shouldn't be stressful. It should be fun.
Okay, but to be fair, it was stressful because I don't email, and there was so much emailing going on during this. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I need an assistant. So when you work for yourself, how many years of that do you need before you can even be considered getting a loan?
2 years.
2 years.
There's
and it has to be consistent, right?
Yeah, there's some wiggle room on that depending on what you came from. If you were at a salary position and then you went into working for yourself, you need 2 years to leverage or average out your income. But I believe there's some other loans out there that different banks offer that can do like bank loans. They're looking at your bank account and how much money that you've had in taxes over the past couple of years. So they can get that down to like a year. But when you work for yourself, generally rule of thumb is 2 years.
And there's really it has to be 2 years, right?
Yeah.
I get it. Like lending out money is.
Well, think about what happened in 2007 and 2008.
What happened?
That's when the market tanked because people were doing stated asset and stated income loans. And they were saying, oh yeah, I work at the McDonald's drive-thru and I'm making $25 an hour and you're only making $7.
Did they just lie, or McDonald's was really paying $25? How was they pay that much?
They lied, and there was no verification, and they were getting loans for 100% financing on houses they couldn't afford. And then the taxes came out the next year, and they went up $3,000-$4,000, and they couldn't afford it, and the whole market tanked.
What about like foreclosure? Do you recommend buying a house in the foreclosure? One of my clients asked that, and I was like, I don't know. That's a good question.
So I am a short sale and foreclosure specialist as well.
Oh, look at that.
I was certified several years ago, actually in 2008 when we were going through that period of time. I think there's some good deals to be had. We don't see them as much. Banks have gotten smarter. They started fixing them up and cleaning them up and putting them on the market at the normal price, as opposed to before they left them in the condition they were, and they were great deals for somebody that knew what they were doing.
So short sales have been short.
Yes.
That was like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, I didn't know that. I know the banks were doing that.
Yeah, obviously they can go in there and put $30,000-$40,000 in and make another $100,000. Why wouldn't you do it? So they started getting wiser to that. But they also started packaging loans together and selling a bundle of houses as opposed to just individual houses. So these big investors like BlackRock and some of these other giant corporations were coming in and buying 100 properties at once. Some of them are great. Some of them are garbage. They go in, fix them up, rent them out, or sell them. Rent's crazy.
It's insane. I didn't realize how much rent was. Because I own, and to your point, it's like you think you can't afford it. I thought my budget was like almost $100,000 less when I was like, this is my budget. My realtor was like, you don't want to go up here? I was like, no way. Then he did the numbers. I was like, oh, I can afford that. Right. So, but if I was to rent, I have a 3-bedroom condo in the north side of Chicago. I won't say where. But it's like, if I was to rent that out, it's 1,400 square feet, 3 bedrooms, balcony, fireplace. Like, what would that cost if I was to rent that out?
3 bedrooms?
Or if I was renting it out?
What neighborhood?
North side of Chicago. I don't want to say.
North side's big, like closer to the lake, Lakeview?
Like the Park Ridge area.
Okay.
Like that, like Norwood Park, Jefferson Park, like the Irving Park, like that.
So that's where
area.
I live. I live in Jefferson Park.
Oh.
So 3-bedroom, 2-bath in Jefferson Park. You're going to be somewhere around, depending on the updates.
Nicely updated.
2,500, 2,700.
That's like my mortgage.
Right.
So it's like you can just own it.
I have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, no garage or anything, small 900 square foot apartment. It's updated, it's clean, it's beautiful. And I get $1,800 for that, and it rented in a day, instantly.
How many bedrooms you said?
2-bedroom, 1-bath.
That's actually a good deal though for a 2-bed. I feel like anything under 2,000.
I could get 2,000 for it.
And that's still a good deal.
Yeah.
I feel like anything under 2,000 is a great deal, especially for a 2-bedroom.
It's mind blowing that people are out there renting. When you can take that $2,000 a month, you can afford $250,000.
Is there any cons to owning, in your opinion? Like from
maintenance,
okay,
right? You're going to have maintenance. Most people don't think about that, but you know, the hot water heater breaks, you need to fix it. True. Or find someone to fix it.
You don't call the landlord,
right? And there's more benefits to owning than downfalls.
That's probably like the only con then. That like
most people don't.
Happens.
They don't realize the tax benefits of owning. You get to write off the interest, write off the property taxes off of your income. You get a larger tax return at the end of the year. You know, as long as you're smart with that money and put it towards the house as opposed to a trip to Disney World.
Why are you calling me out? Why are you talking shit? I'm joking. No, that's true. And so my thing, you know, being social independent women, let me tell you, because I do not do many very independent things. Like, yes, I pay my bills, but that's it. I was like, this is my budget. I specifically said I need a condo because I am not going to be cutting no grass or shoveling any snow. Mm-hmm. So like, is there a better benefit besides like having a yard to having like a condo or a house, like in your opinion?
It just
depends on the person like myself.
Yeah, it comes down to the person. Some people want zero maintenance, but you can live in a house and have zero maintenance because you can pay a landscaper to come out and cut your grass.
No, but then you have to take charge of it. So much easier for me to pay my little BS HOA fee and let them do everything. I come home and I'm like, oh.
Are you on your board at your HOA?
No.
So you have no say on what happens?
I don't want to say so. Not yet. I've only been owning for like a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Not yet. Right now, I'm just like, I own this. I have a mortgage. Like shit happens. Sure. You know, my kids' tub, like my kids have their own bathroom, and like now I need to get a plumber in there. And I haven't even taken care of that. So believe me, you do not want me on the board. Yeah,
until one day they say they want to replace all the flowers outside and everyone's got to pay for that.
True.
And it's $20,000 and you're cut on it's $2,000.
Right. That's when I'll care. Yeah. Right now, like I said, it's new.
A building that allows rentals.
Yes.
Okay.
That's one thing I did make sure of because I'm only in this area because of my kids, right? Mm-hmm. Because their school is nearby. And when I got divorced, I wanted them to stay close to their father. Mm-hmm. But once that little one turns 18, I'm out.
Back to Florida?
You know, I love Miami, but I don't know if I want to live there now. Mm-hmm. Like now that I'm getting older, I'm like, it's so loud.
Crazy too, because I think the state of Florida is a lot like the city of Chicago with the different neighborhoods as opposed to different cities.
Like the Wynwood area. Yep. When was the last time you've been to Miami?
Probably last year I was in Miami. I'm licensed in Florida as well.
Oh, that's right.
I sell Illinois and Florida. Okay. I do a lot of Southwest Florida as opposed to Southeast Florida. Okay. So Naples, Marco Island, that's where ultimately I would love to be at some point in my life. Have you
purchased there yet?
I have not. We were under contract on a house in Marco Island last year, my wife and I, and we decided it wasn't time yet. So my parents are there 6 months of the year. My dad's my partner, so we both are licensed in Florida and here.
I'm surprised you haven't bought a place there yet. See, I'm like preparing. Like I'm like, I need to do something with this money and buy a property, whether I decide to live in downtown Chicago or move to Florida and just buy that property and rent it out until I'm ready to move out. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like have somebody pay your mortgage because at this point you could do that.
We ended up buying a new house here in the suburbs, in a northwest suburb, and we're currently renovating that. And that's a whole other project. So anybody that wants information on what it takes to rehab and what to expect, I mean, again, you need to place yourself with somebody who knows what they're doing.
Right, but you probably must know so many people, right? Like contractors and all that.
Yeah, I have a ton of good contractors, good people that you can trust and hopefully not get taken advantage of.
Oh, so then I need you then. Yeah, I need someone to fix this
It's a crazy world out there. There's so many people that you just can't trust.
I know. No, it's true. My client, like, she was coming out of her garage and it wouldn't close. Mm-hmm. So she just went on Google and typed in like the first, I don't even know what she Googled. Not my problem. So I don't get a house, you see. She said she called 3 people. They called her back. She accidentally told 2 different people to come. She thought she was talking to the same person. They both show up.
They both charged her.
Wait, well, no. One guy showed up like 4 minutes after. So in her mind, when the first guy shows up, he told her it's going to be, I think she said $250 to just fix it. And she was like, all you got to do is like, I'm sure it's not that difficult, you know? Well, the other guy shows up and he's like, I'm here. She's like, aren't you already outside? He's like, no, I just got here. She's like, oh my God, I called 2 people. So then she has to go out there and explain to him, I messed up. The second guy shows up, leaves. And she's like, just for shits and giggles, what would you have charged for that? He's like, for that, like $60. She was so mad at herself. See, but that's women like us, they can fool us because I don't know. Like car stuff, I don't know how much this stuff costs.
It's not just women though.
Men too?
You don't know. What you don't know, you don't know.
I feel like men have a better idea. Like, okay, for example, I have no idea what it's going to cost to get my tub fixed. You probably have like a better estimate in your head. I have 0.
I mean, Not necessarily. It's a plumber. A plumber's going to tell you because you can't see everything. If your tub's, is it just clogged? Is the pipe broken?
So basically they have to, yes, the pipe's broken. So when they turn the water on, it leaks to the tub, the person next on the floor below me. So they have to also rip up her wall and fix that and then drywall her wall and paint it and everybody's happy except
Are you
me.
sure it's your drain?
It is. It's my kid's tub.
Okay. And it's probably just a gasket.
And it's my problem. The HOA is like, we can't.
They said they're not going to do anything for
Yeah.
it. It probably won't be that bad because it's probably just a gasket. Drywall's not that expensive. Paint's not that expensive.
Oh, I'm not worried about the price. To me, I'm just like,
But
who's
you
gonna
just
do
don't
a
know what
good
you're
job?
doing, right?
And are they going to do it properly? You know, like that's more my concern. Like I'm going to pay. I'd rather pay someone more money and know that it's going to get done well. I don't want to go through this again, but I don't know who to trust.
Right. Yeah, but in the same thing, I mean, there's a lot of funny business that goes on with remodeling anything because going through our project, we found a lot of contractors look out for themselves, just like doctors look out for themselves and lawyers look out for themselves. Contractors look out for themselves and look out for each other in the aspect of, is this price right? And you ask around until you found that right person that's like, no, you're getting the $60 versus $250.
Right.
Somebody was trying to take advantage and unfortunately they got there first.
And that's exactly what happened. But the funny thing is that the $60 guy ended up like basically fixing it. And he goes, it's okay. She's like, you don't have to. He's like, no, because I guess the $250 guy didn't really know what he was even doing. She goes, I felt so bad. I had to overpay this guy. And then that guy basically fixed it. I was like, wow. I mean, but that's exactly how
And you can't label everything on price, right?
Right.
Just because something takes one guy, let's say they were both the same price. It took him 15 minutes and it took this guy an hour, but they were both at $200.
True.
You can't substitute experience. He did it in 15 minutes because he knew what he was doing.
Right.
And he was good at it.
Right.
That's why he was worth that money. And paying this guy $200 for an hour, he guessed until it worked.
Right. It's like you're paying for experience.
Right.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. Okay. So is there anything else you feel like you want to add to people listening who either want to buy a house or rent their, like anything, any valuable information that you can give like these listeners?
Right now is the time to buy, right? The market historically is going to keep going up. When we don't, it's simple economics 101, right? Supply and demand. There's not much supply. Now, there are certain areas in the city or the outskirts of the city and some of the suburbs that there is a lot of inventory in different markets, right? The over $1 million market has more inventory.
True.
The under 500,000 has no inventory. There's certain suburbs, like the last time I looked just a couple of days ago, the city of Rolling Meadows had 3 houses for sale. Elk Grove had 6. There's nothing there. So people can kind of ask what they want price-wise because somebody will pay it.
Right.
And if you want to buy, you want to live there, you're going to pay more for it. So it's going to keep going up. And as interest rates come down, there's going to be even more buyers out there and less inventory until the inventory finally comes on because people are going to say, well, now it's in the 5s or now it's in the 4s again. We want to buy and move our family further out or into bigger, and then we'll see more inventory, but there's still buyers in the wings. There's still people waiting.
That's so insane how the market's like that.
And
I never understood the market.
Yeah, I would definitely still look at purchasing sooner and refinancing later to get the better rate. And most people are going to fix up their house. They're going to make it look nicer. So you can buy with little money down, fix it up, the market goes up, and you can remove your PMI and pay your house off faster.
True, but like the interest rate is like, is it going to go down at any point?
Nobody has a crystal ball, right?
True.
Nobody thought it was going to go up as fast as it did, but it did. Do I ever think we're going to see 2.5 again? My personal opinion, no. I don't know if we ever see 3% again, but I do think we see somewhere around between the 4 and 5% range.
Okay.
Somewhere in probably the next 12 months. I think the closer we get to the election, we're going to see it come down below 6.
Why is that?
Fear and the political parties. One's going to say, we're doing this for you.
Right.
And the other one's going to say, well, this is happening because we're going to take over. It's going to be a great battle.
Right.
but it's going to help all out the public. We're going to see lower interest rates because of it.
I didn't even realize that the elections had a big...
Elections have to do with a lot of things.
Oh,
and it doesn't.
Yes, I do know that, but it didn't occur to me. Again, I don't think real estate.
Right.
I don't, you know what I mean? It's like, it didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
I don't think many people did, or maybe just me. I'm just such a girl.
When I help buyers or sellers, I try to tell them, I'll take on everything and I will tell you what I need from you when I need it from you.
Okay.
But there's no reason that you should be overwhelmed. It should be a smooth process the whole time. You just have to trust the people that you're working with.
Yeah, and I totally did. So I hired, this is really funny, but his name is Phil. He's my dog's uncle. I know that's like really funny, but we went to the same breeder and we just like kept that friendship for like the dog's sake so they can...
Sure.
They're brothers, and every now and then we do play dates with them. So obviously, to me, I was like, I owe you the loyalty of giving you this, and he was great. He wasn't an issue at all. But again, it's just not for me. Adulting's not for me.
I don't know if anyone wants to be an adult.
No, you
nobody
don't
wants to pay the bills. Nobody wants to do anything.
I truly do not. Like I tell Cassandra, I was like, I don't know how I'm an adult. I don't know how I have children, how I run a business. I don't know how I do anything.
Superpowers.
I say it's the grace of God.
Yeah.
God just takes over, and He does everything for me.
That's awesome.
But anything else that you want to add before we wrap up?
If you are looking for help, I promise I can take good care of anybody, your friends, family. Feel free to give me a call, even if it's just a question. So many people get lost and are afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask questions. That's going to make you feel the most comfortable.
Gotcha. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. Honestly, I was so excited for this, and I'm really glad you came.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.